Sweet Saudi money hysteria. The wrestling internet world was taken over this week by random theories that the Saudis had not only been in the running to buy WWE, but had in fact closed the deal and purchased the WWE from the cold, dead hand of Vince McMahon. This was the rumor that was perpetuated throughout the internet this week, and everybody lost their shit about it. This, I believe, came from Steve Milhausen, who had put out that sources had confirmed that a deal was already done or maybe close to done, and then every news site started running with this. And this was the big chatter. Podcast started talking about it. People were posting about it in all these Facebook groups. Saudis bought WWE. Hashtag WWE sold. And everybody had all but confirmed this. This was the widely believed theory that WWE was bought and paid for by the Saudi Arab Prince Empire. But in fact, this was not the case. Take a look at this clip from Sean Ross Sapp as he talks about how all this got out of hand and what exactly happened here and how we got to this point.
Last night, there was a very vague tweet, and I want to specifically say what it says. That way I can't misquote it, but it was Brian Alvarez, and it was at
9 o'clock Eastern.
It was at 8:57 Eastern. Says, I think monster news is imminent. Well, when that happens, and I'll be the first to say, sometimes I'll post eyeball emojis, GIFs, something like that. A story is coming imminently when I do that. I'm not going to peace out. And Brian dipped out, went away, and you never know when that's going to be covered. Dave posted up there, seems like it. No idea of when a story would come or anything. When that happens, I think when I counted, Jimmy, I had over 200 DMs from the time that happened to the time I posted a tweet. And I found out what that was about, what that speculation was about. But I battled with even putting it out there. And then I talked to a sports writer who is nationally featured on TV all the time. And they said, you know what? When this happens, Schefter will go on the air and he'll say, this is a rumor. I can't confirm it. But just so you know, this is what people are talking about. And quite honestly, I was kind of sick of getting messages about it. So I said, okay, here's what the vague tweets are about, where everybody's like, uh-oh, if what I hear. The rumor was WWE had already finalized or was working on a deal to sell to Saudi Arabia in a very vague sense, right? And I made sure to say, in no way have I confirmed this. I've been given no indication that this is actually the case. And I know where some of it emerged from. Some of it, not all of it. I can't speak to how Dave, Brian, or anybody, but there was a specific group chat among a pretty connected and prominent person who predicted and speculated it based off of the fact that Stephanie had stepped down as co-CEO. And the idea was, can't have a woman as co-CEO if Saudi Arabia is taken over. And then a person in that group chat went and fed that to a couple of people as like, yeah, I think this is happening. And then provided more details and seemed to embellish it a little bit as well. And then it went from there. Now, meanwhile, I know that I'm asking people. I know for a fact that John Alba was asking people. I know for a fact that Brandon Thurston was asking people. And we were given no indication of this. No indication that any of this was actually going to happen like that. And holy cow, man. Holy cow. What a mess. And I want to say this. I really like Cassidy. Cassidy is one of my best friends. I wouldn't have ran with that story. I like Steve Muehlhausen. He has bylines here at Fightful. He covered the Punk trial for us. DAZN made him delete that tweet for a reason because
he did.
It wasn't true.
A lot of wrestling journalists have been losing sleep this week, staying up all hours trying to confirm or deny the truth to this Saudi story. And it took a couple days, but in fact, it was proven to not be the case, at least not yet. The Saudis are still certainly in the running to buy WWE, so we're not out of the storm yet. We're not in the clear, but WWE has not been sold at this time. It's a bit of a process. You can't just sell a company overnight unless the Saudis just offer them so much stupid money, their dirty oil money that they like to buy propaganda with. They could have just wrote a giant check to WWE that was so big, so massive, so much more than WWE could possibly be worth or get from any other company, that they would just have to take that deal, and it was a done deal that quick. But these things take time, and that was just not going to be the case. Now, a lot of people are wondering why WWE would even sell to the Saudis, especially after all the outrage and chaotic fucking responses on the internet this week. Like I said, everybody lost their ever-loving mind over this whole Saudi situation, and rightfully so, because if WWE sold to the Saudis, it's going to piss a lot of people off. There's a lot of people that just aren't going to want anything to do with that, me included. I would never watch WWE again in my life. They would never get another nickel out of me if they were owned lock, stock, and barrel by the Saudis. But they're certainly in the running, and WWE could have to sell to them if they make the biggest offer, because when you are a publicly traded company, you owe it to your stockholders to take the best deal. Now, of course, I'm no expert in this matter, but I did take a pretty good crash course in it over the summer, over the whole Elon Musk buying Twitter gimmick. I followed that story pretty closely. And if you remember, maybe you were following it too, maybe not. Twitter didn't want Elon Musk to buy the company. They they poo-pooed the idea pretty quickly. But it was kind of Elon kind of had him over a barrel because he offered them so much. He paid more for Twitter than anybody else was ever going to even dare to offer for Twitter. He paid way over the market value for it. And they had to take the deal because you have a financial responsibility to the shareholders of your company when you are publicly traded. You cannot turn down a bigger money offer for a lower one just because you don't want to do it. This is the same situation we'll talk about a little bit later, but, with Vince wanting to stay in power and that sort of thing, writing that into the deal and stuff. At the end of the day, WWE being a publicly traded company, putting themselves on the market through JP Morgan Chase, they have to sell to the highest bidder. And the highest bidder could very well be the Saudis. The Saudis have endless fucking money. Endless fucking money. And they're trying to buy propaganda. They bought a whole Gulf League, and they're investing in lots of other stuff. They want to ingratiate themselves into the world. They want to put out this persona that they're not bad guys, that they're this wonderful country that everybody loves to visit, and they want to be part of the world community and get people to travel to Saudi Arabia and all that stuff. And there's rumors that the reason Stephanie left is because the Saudis bought it. And my God, we can't have a female CEO in charge when the Saudis own things, and that's why none of this is true. It's all bullshit. But Saudis could very well make the biggest play. They have the most money to play with. It's just a matter of how much do they want to buy into this. And we could see a very different landscape in professional wrestling if that's the case. And quite frankly, like I said, I wouldn't want anything to do with it. I don't know. I'm sure they would keep Vince in charge. I'm sure it would be business as usual. The Saudis aren't going to come in and micromanage it per se. The Saudi prince ain't going to be booking shit. He might, though. Remember they were throwing out, they were trying to fantasy book their cards for Crown Jewel. They wanted Yokozuna to come back and wrestle one more match. and the Ultimate Warrior to come back and wrestle one more match. All the while, unbeknownst to them, these folks have been dead and can't come back from the dead to wrestle a match. That's why they had that weird sumo guy come out for no reason in Saudi Arabia. This whole thing's ridiculous. Now, WWE is, in fact, for sale. I see a lot of people even speculating that, they're not even going to sell. They've been for sale for a lot of years now. There's been rumors of it, but they hired JP Morgan Chase to facilitate this. And this is actually the first step in the process of a sale. And in fact, I do have another clip here from Fightful, from the list and your boy. This is talking about the process of a sale from Jimmy Van. He is the owner of Fightful. He's the money guy there. He owns businesses. He knows a thing or two about it. And he's going to walk us through the process of a corporate sale of a publicly traded company. Check out this clip.
The first thing that you do is you hire a firm to represent you. And they announced a couple of days ago that they've hired JP Morgan to represent them. I am of the belief that that was the catalyst for Vince coming back. Like, this is my opinion. I think that WWE knew at least a month ago that they were going to go with JP Morgan. I think Vince got wind of it. And I think Vince thought, oh shit, the process has started. Well, they're not doing it without me. And that led to him returning. And that's my opinion. So they've got the firm to represent them. Yeah. Once you have the firm to represent them, now you have to solicit buyers. That's what the firm does. They solicit buyers. They get them to sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. Then they can schedule meetings with the sellers and Q&As and do the whole song and dance and all of that. That takes a little while. That doesn't take a day. It takes a little while to do. Then after that, any interested buyer, they sell what they call an LOI, or a letter of intent. And basically the letter of intent is where they pitch their offer, their bid, their payment structure, all of that. The seller, in this case, WWE, they will choose one of those LOIs, one of those letters of intent. Then due diligence happens. And this is a very extensive process. They look at financial statements. They look at employee contracts. They look at vendor contracts. They might want to look at the tech code, anything proprietary that WWE owns. It's a very extensive process. Once that's all done, if they pass through and if WWE accepts an offer and if they're cool with the DD, the due diligence, then they do the purchase agreement. Then they have the close date. And because WWE is a public company, they have to have shareholder approval, which is easy because Vince has majority voting rates, and they have to have SEC approval.
Right. So despite the fact that the Saudis could absolutely still be in the running, they have not bought WWE, and nobody else has bought WWE yet. With the hiring of JP Morgan Chase, now certainly they could just cut ties and decide they want to keep it instead, but hiring JP Morgan was the first step in the eventual sale of WWE. This company is for sale. This company will be sold most likely this year, is the rumor on the street. And this is a ever-changing day-by-day situation. News can break in this stuff at any point. And we're hearing lots of rumors of lots of different suitors that are still in the mix. Comcast is absolutely in the mix. NBC Universal, Comcast, they're already paying, billions to the WWE. They are still in the mix for this. Disney could absolutely still be in the mix for this. Apple could be in the mix for this. Tony fucking Khan could be in the mix for this, and we'll talk about that in a little bit here. Lots of people throwing their hat in the ring. WWE is up for sale, and this will absolutely change the landscape of professional wrestling, and I'm here for it. I'm excited to see it. Hopefully it's not the beginning of the death of professional wrestling, which I think could be the case if somebody like the Saudis get in charge, or you get some corporate moron that takes over and installs, instead of somebody that actually knows what they're doing with wrestling, they put in like a Jim Herd to come in and fucking make the Ding Dogs tag team and make Roman Reigns shave his head and call him fucking Spartacus or something. You never know what could happen, but it remains to be seen at this point, and no one has bought it yet. But stay the fuck tuned, because this is an ongoing story.
Let me tell you something, brother. You can check out full episodes each and every Sunday right here on this channel, dude. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to take your vitamins and say your prayers, brother.